Welcome to another episode of Flying Sparks Garage. We are at OG Flying Sparks Garage, and this week's episode is going to be here. Day after tomorrow, I'm getting on an airplane, even though we just got home from our, 10-day trip across the country, driving Finnegan's FBI command unit back home. We've got sick week, and I am lucky enough to be the Freedom Plus pit reporter. So I have that job coming up, and Aaron is going to tackle some projects inside this shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm staying back for a few reasons. One is that we have the puppies, and we really can't take them on sick week. Emily's also going to be on camera the whole time, super tied up, super busy. So the only way for me to do it and enjoy it would be to take a car, and I don't have a car. So instead, I'm going to stay back here and finish up some projects that have been bugging us that I don't have time to do when we're both in the shop trying to get videos out.
I wonder if the disco lights show in the background.
It does. It's very funny.
Our lights are so glitchy in here, even though Aaron had recently installed them.
Oh, right when I went over that one, it stopped blinking. That's
they flash
funny.
on and off, and it's rather disappointing.
Yeah, I'm not a wiring person. Apparently, I did something wrong.
Or the squirrels got into them. Let's blame it on the squirrels,
That's
guys.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's blame it on the squirrels.
Yes. We can thank Shopify for this video, and a little bit later we'll discuss why we love them so much. But before that, let's take y'all around to what Aaron is going to be working on this week. You can shut the big lights off.
Okay.
I think we should work with some natural light. What do y'all think? Oh, I miss this shop.
Yeah, look at all the sad projects in here.
Right?
All right, so we just got off the phone. Finnegan and Freiberger are on their way here. They may or may not make it, but the plan is Finn's got to be on an airplane tomorrow morning. So they're going to leave the dually here, Stubby Bob here, and I don't want his dually sitting outside. It's got a bunch of engines in the back, and that stuff's going to get wet. Plus, it just attracts a lot of attention. So we're going to tuck it away for him until he can get back here. But we have this problem. There's stuff all in the way. So we're going to work on, I'm going to work on, because Emily's leaving town, I'm going to work on the Bronco. We've got that new fuel injection for it, and what happened was when that fuel injection came in, we got to notice that the regulator was bad. Like, don't use it, could burn the truck down. So we got distracted with Peterbilt stuff, and it sat. Well, I finally got a new regulator in, so it's time to get this thing going, and this is a perfect time to do it. So next on our list is the 300ZX twin turbo. We love this car. We ended up doing injectors on it and a bunch of wiring, new pigtails, which they notoriously go bad on these cars. And we got it running good. And the funny thing, the reason this car is sitting here is because the tires are flat swatted. And it has taken us forever to find wheels for it. Finally found some we liked. We got new Continental tires for it. So I'll get those put on there. I've got a water leak under the hood I'll fix, and we'll get this out. Once that's out, we'll be able to bring that dually in and put his stuff away. So this is going to be an interesting episode. Obviously, Emily's going to be in Florida. Finnegan's going to be in Florida. And I'm going to be here trying to do stuff. So I think it'd be kind of fun if we pass videos back and forth. I can check in with Emily where she's at in Florida and what she's seeing. And then once we get Finn stuff put away, we'll check in with him and see how he's doing for the week. So should be fun. It'll be me shooting, probably the kid helping me edit it, and we'll get you guys something really fun this week.
Thanks, TK.
Yeah.
Film crew, editor, mechanic, generally awesome person. That's TK. We are so grateful to work with Shopify, not only as a sponsor for our channel, but as a tool for our business. We sell all of our merch through Shopify, and they really do make it so easy for small businesses to sell their products, track all of their success, and organize shipping and all that stuff. It's so nice.
Absolutely. If you've never owned a small business, you won't know this, but the fact is there are so many moving parts, and organization is paramount for it to actually be functional. I don't like this thing like I'm doing a seminar. What is this?
I'm gonna put bloopers in the next episode. This episode, there's gonna be bloopers.
Yeah.
Watch out. We said it last time, but no, it's actually gonna happen.
As Aaron so eloquently put, Shopify has been such an amazing tool for our business. If you're a small business owner or dream of being a small business owner, start your trial today by visiting shopify.com/Flying Sparks Garage, or use this QR code. Thank you so much, Shopify, for sponsoring this video. I'm about to jump on an airplane. Aaron's about to get a bunch of stuff done, and we're taking y'all along with us as usual.
Okay, so we got Emily off the airport, and I've got to run back to the shop and put some stuff away. Stubby Bob, the dually, all that stuff, that is attracting a lot of attention, which is wonderful. I love that people are stopping and taking pictures and stuff. But I want to get it put away. That way people aren't tempted to pick stuff out of the back of it. We live in a really good community, and that stuff usually doesn't happen. But since the guys trusted me to keep those things, I want to make sure it's taken care of. So we're going to move some stuff around, get this stuff put in the shop, and then Monday I'll start working on the Bronco and the 300ZX. So yeah, let's keep going. We got the dually in here. That cannot stay here. That's why I've got to go to the other shop and fix the 300ZX and the Bronco, because this is in our way. Our tractor normally parks here. Stuart's tractor normally parks there. And it's just, we need room to move. This thing is massive. It's not as big as the FBI truck, and it's definitely not as big as one of my Peterbilts with a trailer on it. But maneuvering this thing around, yeah, it takes a little thinking. It's pretty long. Backing out of this driveway, we got a building right on the other side and a road that runs between them. And people always turn that corner and come zooming around it. So it's always hard to back out of here, but especially with this, when the back end's already in the street before you clear the building, that is not very much fun. Well, good afternoon. I've been running around this morning. Emily made it safely to Florida. She is with the sick week crew. They're getting going, and we are here working. Now this Bronco, if you remember, we had a problem with the steering column. We replaced the steering column, went to jump it off, and I think I put too much juice to the Holla EFI and blew it out. They sent us a new kit. This has been months ago, and I didn't have a fuel pressure regulator for it because the one that they sent was on back order because of some fire hazard thingamajiggers. So I got me a new one, ordered one on Amazon from Aeromotive. Gonna put that in there and see if we can remember what we were doing, where we're at. I know there's no oil in this. We drained the oil out because it was full of gas. I see the plug sitting there, so we're gonna get some oil in it, get the fuel injection on. I'm gonna fumble through it and try to figure out how to wire it. They sent a really nice book with it, so I should be able to get through it. We also have a new distributor. I need to check and make sure that that distributor is designed for the type of cam I have, because if it's different, that gear can be a problem. Like if the camshaft, I guess, is cast iron instead of billet or something, it can make a difference. So I'm gonna verify that, get the new distributor in it. The reason we're upgrading the distributor is because the old one cannot be controlled by the computer. And it'd be really nice to be able to adjust the timing through the ECM. So I'm gonna get busy on this. So we can see here, I've been marking stuff, but I have absolutely no memory of what I was doing or trying to do. I should go back and watch my own videos to see what's going on. So this is the regulator that we were told not to use. Looks fine, I don't know what's wrong with it, but apparently it can cause some problems. So that's going in the trash, and we're gonna get all the rest of this stuff set up. That's the old unit there. That's the one that I smoked by putting too much power through it. So you have to bear with me. I'm trying to shoot this myself, and all of my good lights are at the other shop. So we're just gonna make it work. We're gonna get this thing functioning, and then it'll be time to move on to the 300ZX. I gotta get his truck in here stored. He's got those nice engine blocks in the back. I don't want anything getting rusty or having anybody think they need it more than he does. So get these two running. It'll be nice to have them off the list anyways. And then this shop will be a lot more usable. Let's see if we can get some lights set up in here. I'm sure this light's dead, but hopefully I can plug it in and keep it running. Oh, that's a lot better. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna pull the cap off this distributor, see what we're working with. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this distributor. It's a really nice one, MSD. It just doesn't have the functionality to be able to be tuned via the computer. It's mechanical and it's loose. Huh, that's interesting. Maybe I was adjusting it. I see a bolt down here I've got to get off because of the ground. And then I've got 2 small wires that go to my coil. So I'll just unplug those. Vacuum advance unplugged. And let's see if we can get that ground wire off. This is not the right wrench. Oh, got another wire, gray wire over on this side. That goes to the ECM. Got a new distributor here. I'll lube up that O-ring. This is probably way too much lube. It smells like cinnamon. The correct way to do this is put number 1 cylinder all the way to the top, time it, then redo your spark plug wires. What I did was pull the distributor out, take note of where the button was, put it back in so the button was in the same place. That is educated guessing at best. So that may come back and bite us, but pretty sure I got it back in the same place. We're just gonna rock and roll with that, but we're gonna remember when we're trying to start it, if it's backfiring or something like that, it's very likely that I have a tooth off or something. But don't do it the way I did it. Do it the right way. Get it on top dead center. Who took my wrench? There's nobody here to take it. It's just me. Okay, I put it somewhere. I've never cared for this intake because I've got to run this spacer on it. Those gaskets actually look pretty good, but I'll probably replace them. Cannot seem to find my new gaskets. So, like I was saying earlier, this one will work just fine. It's not torn. It's not smushed, hadn't been on there too terribly long. Wow, that basically installed itself. Sweet. The old fuel injection, both the fuel lines came to the back, I believe. Yeah, so this is the fuel pressure regulator on the old one. So I'm assuming you've got pressure in here, return out there. You can see with my new setup, they're both on the driver's side. So we'll have to mount a pressure regulator on the firewall and the return will hook to it. And then the other side of the pressure regulator will go in here and pressure in here. I'll verify that before I hook stuff up, but yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, so pressure goes in the back, return is in the front. So we'll come out of this side, we'll go into that regulator, go out of that regulator into our return. I'll have to remake both these hoses and then vroom vroom. Well, I mean, we've got to put a lot of wires in, but then vroom vroom. Let me get this carburetor thingamajigger fuel injection bolted down and then we will start hooking hoses up. Okay, so I got my transmission cable hooked up. It appears that it's hooking up in about the same spot. Also got my accelerator hooked up. It was all pretty easy. The bracket went to the same place. Everything's cool. Now, when you're dealing with the Ford, this has got a Ford AOD in it, automatic overdrive, and it is very crucial that you get this line pressure right. So once I get it up and running, we will probably put a gauge on that transmission, check it, make sure our pressures are where they need to be, because we do not want to tear that transmission up. And I can't be 100% sure that this went back in the exact same location, but we'll test it. Carburetor's bolted down, EFI. So I keep calling it a carburetor because it looks like one. So this is the regulator that I went with. Got a nice little area to mount it here. It has a vacuum. If you want the pressure to change as you build more vacuum, that'll do that. We're not gonna run it. We're just gonna set it and forget it. It's got an inlet on both sides, a return on the bottom, and then a boss here on the front, so that I can put my gauge in here. So we'll get that set, leave it alone, we'll never have to change it again. I had to order fittings. This unit is actually O-ringed, and the fittings I had were MPT, so they won't work on this. So we'll end up capping one of these, coming from the fuel injection with one of the hoses, that return that comes out of the fuel injection, it'll go into here, and then it'll exit out of the bottom and go back to the tank. Now, I don't have the fittings here yet, so what I'm gonna do is get this mounted. So we'll go ahead and run those hoses, get them close to it, terminate them, and we'll be good as soon as our fittings come in. And then we got a whole bunch of wiring to do, but I'll get this mounted and that'll be a step in the right direction. So I feel like that's gonna be a pretty good spot right there. All right, cool. Got plenty of room to get my Allen in here to adjust it. Plenty of room for my hose to go down, that hose to go over. I've moved it this way so it's off the header in case this does spring a leak. It doesn't go straight down that hot header. I think that's a good spot for it. Love this aluminum metal hose. It bends really easy. That might go right in the bottom of there. I'll have to check underneath to make sure it's not hitting anything, but looks like we might be in business. Let me take that fitting off. We're in business right there. Bingo. That's our return. Now we just need a hose to go into there, and we'll build a hose for the pressure side. Yeah, I'm digging it. So that back fitting comes from the fuel pump. This front fitting goes to that regulator. So we'll see if we can get that back one snaked over and plugged in. Okay. Oh, who took my other wrench? Guess it was me. I'm still the only one here. Where'd it go? Jeez. What in the world did I do with that wrench? Oh, it's in here. What I should do is put a 90 on here, and then I'll get this bent up all nice where it goes about right there. Tempting to get a 45 so I can see that a little bit better, but it's not a gauge we look at very frequently, so all right, leave it just like that. All right, now this one, I don't have a 90, but I do have a 45, and that aims pretty well at the regulator. Again, it needs to go to the bottom here. It needs to go to the side here. So I think what I can do, so I've got two 45s, so I can take this one and put it here to the side of that regulator, and that lines up perfectly with this. Yep, that's gonna do it for me today. I got the fuel injection on, got the hoses routed where I want them. I'm gonna wait on those fittings to come in to finally terminate those hoses. So I guess what's gonna happen now is, well, I gotta run home and take care of the dogs because Emily's out of town. The dogs have been at home for like 6 hours right now by themselves. I need to go take care of those little puppies. But I guess what's gonna happen tomorrow, I'll start wiring this thing. So I'm gonna grab my book and I'm gonna be studying up tonight, getting ready to wire that thing up in the morning. Oh, good morning-ish, kind of. See, the deal is, it's like 11 o'clock right now. I was drinking coffee this morning and I decided, I wonder if there's a way to get Freedom Plus on the TV. So I got to doing that. Turns out there is. I was able to just share what was going on my phone on the TV, and I got sucked in. So I sat there and drank way too much coffee and watched some racing and stuff like that. It was really fun to see Emily up there doing her pit reporting. Super neat, but reality set in. I've actually got to get work done. I can't just sit around all day. So we're back at the Bronco. I'm gonna start messing with this wiring. So this system's a little bit different than the last one. We've got this nifty little comm center, or whatever you want to call it. A link. Let's see over here, that's part of that. Got a nice new screen. I like this one better than the old one. And I've already got that thing mounted in there. I don't remember doing it, but apparently last time we were working on this, I mounted the thing already. So that's there. Goodness, cobwebs, no oil. Glad I did that. I didn't expect the truck to sit so long, but it has, and yeah. So we got some pretty basic wiring to hook up on it, you know, power, ground, accessories, stuff like that. Tack optional. Okay, we'll figure that out. Came with a new coil, so we'll get that mounted. This one I have on here, I don't remember when I did that, but I'm pretty sure that one's fairly new. Actually, I think I did it on, I don't know. I think when the fuel injection started giving me trouble, I put this on there, hoping it was this, but wasn't. I think a good place to start today is we'll remove this old screen, get the wiring pulled back through the firewall, and basically just start removing stuff. So I've got all the old wiring here. Not sure how much of it is going to be used, probably none of it, but I will need to tap into the accessory, the power, and of course we'll find the ground. So we'll get that old wiring out and then start mocking up the new wiring. It should be fairly simple. It came with a new O2 sensor, so I'll put that in there, especially because we're having trouble with the fueling. I want to get a new O2 sensor in there. You dump raw fuel on a O2 sensor, it can destroy it and foul it out. Okay, I think I got it all out here. This is the main harness. That was our connection to the battery. That's our accessory from the key, so we'll just tie into that. The rest is just junk. So, now the old stuff's out. I don't know what this is. It's not terminated, it doesn't go anywhere. So I'll trace that back in the dash. If we can, we'll eliminate that. I prefer to get anything out of here we're not going to use. All right, time to figure out what is going on with the new stuff. So in looking at my instructions, the first thing we're going to mount is what they're calling a PDM. This guy right here, which is really cool. We didn't have this with the last one. It is basically a junction box. So we'll be able to put our power and our ground in here, and then it gives us instructions of where to hook everything up. So I'm going to find a place to mount this, and I'm probably going to put it out kind of in the open where I can see it. I have built cars where I wanted to hide everything and make it super pretty. That is not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do here is make it easier to work on. So I'll get this tucked away somewhere. It appears to be somewhat waterproof. I'll read. I'll find out for sure, but I can tell by the way they've got these strips in here that it's at least water resistant. So we will get that put somewhere, you know, under the hood, obviously, maybe on the firewall or something like that. Well, let's get that mounted, and that'll give us a starting point to start running wires to. Okay, so the PDM is designed to be waterproof. So we are good to go mounting it under the engine bay, which I very much prefer. I don't want to tuck anything else behind that dash, and I just want it out here where it's easy. Okay, so it looks like the top lug is power, the bottom lug is ground, and then we got a fuel pump trigger that's gonna be one I cut down here. We'll have to run that back to the back. So man, I am gonna make this very simple on myself. I'm gonna mount this thing right here. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but I'm not going for pretty. I'm going for easy. If I gotta diagnose something, I want it to be right here in my face. Okay, so it looks like all the power sources go in this side, and everything going to the sniper comes out of this side. So we'll be able to come up, tuck it along this firewall, go over to the sniper unit. Yeah, that's gonna work fine. We'll pop it right there. Make our life simple. Easy enough. Now we'll get to doing some other stuff. Let's see, that's our water temp. So we'll install that right there. Cool. This wire goes to that distribution block thingy. So it's gonna be mounted back here, I suppose. I'm just fumbling through it, guys. I'm figuring it out. All right, time to start playing wires. Now this guy right here is called an in/out connector. Okay, this goes to gauges. All of our gauges are mechanical in this machine, so yes, that will not be used. That's exactly why I labeled it optional. Number 3 is fuel pump trigger. It's supposed to be a blue wire, and in fact, that's the one I've got marked. Double checking everything I marked. Pink is for number 4. Yeah, I've got everything marked correctly. Cool, so we'll just start plugging stuff in. I'm probably gonna leave this a bit of a mess at the moment because I don't want to cut my wires too short. I'd love to have it up and running, and then I can decide, you know, if I want to change stuff. But for now, we'll just get it plugged in, make sure everything functions. They sure do make this simple. I'm not very experienced with this kind of stuff, and it's all laid out there. Don't even have to have any magical knowledge about how to read the wiring diagram. They've got it labeled. So we'll start working on this. Here's what I'm looking at. And they did a beautiful job of laying everything out. This is that plug I was saying, I don't know what it's for, but it's for the gauges right here. Yep. Maybe someday we'll get a nice gauge set in this truck, but probably not. I like my mechanical gauges. But you can see here, they've got everything laid out for us right there. Cool, so those hooked up pretty easily. Next thing we're working with is we got the HyperSpark 2 ignition and the, I guess HyperSpark coil. So this all works into that PDM. So we'll just start placing the stuff where we want it, where we think we're gonna mount it, and start hooking those wires up. This main loom, I'm gonna go behind the battery. Okay, now we got a few more wires to hook up. We've got a red and a white coming from that spark box. So it looks like if you're looking at this distribution block, you count from the top, in my case on the passenger side, down to 9. Then you jump over, the next lug over, it's 10, and then you count back up that side. That'd be a pretty easy thing to mistake, but I can see it right here, so we're not gonna make a mistake. I wonder if that goes under the dash. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the piece I'm talking about. 2 CAN hub. So yeah, it's a communication hub. So we got where we can hook our computer into it. We've got our screen. This is a Bluetooth, so you can have an app on your phone. This one, I believe, plugs into the fuel injection. So if that's the case, this will need to be mounted pretty close because that wire is pretty short, unless I've got an extension cord over there. So I'm gonna look for that and see what I can find. Okay. I did find an extension cord, so that's cool. I'm gonna be able to mount that communication port underneath the dash. So I'm gonna get this ran into there, then I'll get that installed. We just work. We just figure it out, you know? All right, so this wire right here, this is so that the main box, the ECM, which is built into here, can communicate with the little digital dash. So we'll plug this guy in. Okay, there it is. Now, should be able to feed this through this hole I've already got in the firewall. So that should be just coiling up under the dash in there. There's not a lot of stuff behind that dash because it's so old and simple, but more than you would think. They somehow managed to make a simple truck complicated. What I'm trying to accomplish is I just want to get this coupler in behind the dash. I know it's probably waterproof, but just a little added extra security. That's right inside. So now I say we go inside the truck, see where we can mount that communication board thingamajigger and start hooking stuff up. All right, it pains me how dirty this truck is. When the steering column shift broke, it was sitting outside and we were super busy doing other stuff. So this truck sat outside for like way too long and got kind of nasty, but it is an off-road vehicle. So we are not going to get too stressed out about things like that. I got that jobber mounted. Let's see how this looks. I like where that's at. I agree with me of the past that that was a good idea to put it there. We got our communication guy. That will be able to be mounted probably tucked up in there like that. Now the ECM is communicating with the screen now. Got our little Bluetooth guy there. And this, you know, I think this might be like a GPS thing. It's magnetic. Obviously not going to leave it there. I think it plugs into the back of the screen somewhere. So obviously that'll need to be up under the dash. It's magnetic, so it should be pretty simple. All I can figure is that's GPS for the speedometer, if this thing shows speedometer. So everything in here is done. I say we track down an oil filter and some oil, get that all freshened up, and then we're waiting on fittings. Okay, so I'm looking at my parts table over here and I've just about put everything on. I need 2 O-ring fittings for that pressure regulator and a plug. Waiting on that stuff. When the mill runs, that's when the mill runs. So I can't control that. But I can control that this has no oil in it. So I'm gonna run to the store, get a filter for it, get some oil, and be one step closer. I'm back. Went up to O'Reilly, got me some Syntec, got me a nice filter. I'm gonna get the plug put in the bottom, get that filter off, get a new filter on it, and then we'll dump some oil in this thing. Okay, got the plug in the bottom, got the oil filter on. Now it is time to put some oil in. Okay, that's 5 quarts in. Should hold about 6, but we will start there. Best I can tell, the only things I have to hook up are the 2 wires to the fuel pump. I think everything else is in there, kind of temporarily terminated, ready to start up. So I'm gonna hook up that wire to the fuel pump, maybe 2 wires, because there is a provision for a ground in that PDM. I'm gonna get that stuff hooked up, and then we're just waiting. Like, we're hanging out, waiting on fittings to show up. So maybe we'll turn back on Freedom Plus, see what they're doing down in Florida. Fun fact for you, I was looking at this wrong. I've got every wire in the wrong place. They need to be flipped. If you look here, this main lug, these main lugs here, on this side, I was wiring it as if they were over there. So now I get to swap all this back around. Just wanted to show you, in case you caught it in the video, wanted to let you know I am fixing it. It will be right. Okay, now it's fixed up. Hooked up just like it says. We're just waiting on those fittings. Okay, we don't have fittings yet. Those will probably be here about 3 o'clock. It's around noon. I had to run out of town to get some parts for another project. So I'm going to take these tires and wheels up to the tire shop for the 300ZX twin turbo, get those mounted. I'm also going to run by O'Reilly and get a couple batteries because the battery on the Bronco is dead. It's out of date. It's old. I might could bring it back, but I don't want to mess with it. Also, 300ZX, it's been like 2 years since we did that project. So that battery's probably trash. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some good O'Reilly batteries. I like those. I trust them. I like the warranty on them. So I'm going to pick those up, and I will see you back here at the shop when fittings come in. So this is the unfortunate reality of cars that sit. You would think being in a building, it wouldn't get like this, but it has. It is set way too long. Here in Texas, we get a lot of humidity. And when I did the slab, I didn't do it right. So moisture wicks up through the concrete, sets on the car, then dust blows in, basically creates a mud layer on it. And obviously we've had some cats in here too. So sad to see it, but it's one of the reasons we're getting that new shop. We're gonna have a whole back section with lifts and all the cars in there, pretty and clean and on trickle chargers, so we can drive them when we want to. I'm assuming the battery is completely dead on this. We got nothing. So the tire shop's working on our wheels, putting our tires on there. So I ran up and got a battery for this. I know that one that's in there, even if I could bring it back, it's not gonna be good. So I'm gonna get that pulled out. Ugh, throw up in my mouth a little bit when I see this. And I've got a coolant leak down there where I can't even see. I don't know if I messed a hose up or what putting this back together, but I'll do my best to get this charge tube off and then get in there and see where that coolant leak's coming from. But first things first, we'll get it cranked up. All right, got my battery. These lights are driving me crazy in here. Do not know why they aren't working, but they are not working. Just we're gonna keep up with that piece. I'm sure they're hard to find. Back a couple years ago when I got this car running, it ran really good. We did new injectors, a lot of pigtails on the wires, deleted that cooling system that runs underneath the intake. That is not necessary and it's just complicated. But I never really finished it up. Got busy going on other stuff. So I need to find that coolant leak, get that fixed. The charge tubes from the turbos are not tight. They don't have clamps on them. I think I stopped on that because I found the coolant leak and I knew I was gonna have to take them back off. Then we got just a few small things. And this should be a pretty fun little driver. Okay. Battery tray looks good down in there. Don't see any rust or anything. All right. Now I think what was running this battery down is there is a brake light switch that is hanging on. Need to get that figured out too. Need to put new ends on here. The stud that goes through it to hold the clamp on is completely seized up, so you can't loosen them or tighten them. Okay, let's go with that. Now when I fire it up, I know it's going to rattle some because it has every time I've let it set and cranked it back up. Lifters, I think they bleed off, but it should come back around pretty quickly. Let's see what she says now. Yep, sure enough, there's a brake light on. We're just gonna let that sit there and get the oil moving around. It quietened down a little bit, but we still got a little tick. It doesn't sound too bad. See a fuel leak right there. We'll tighten that clamp. My coolant drip is right over here somewhere. This is a very nice car. It is such a shame it's just sat over here. See, those brake lights are hung on. I'm assuming there's a plastic button that goes on that pedal that is broken out, so the switch is just staying on. I've had that happen on other vehicles. Pretty nice little unit. 74,000 miles. That is accurate. We're family friends with the person that bought it new. Yeah, I'm excited to work on this thing again. Well, we have got one heck of a gasoline leak. So that'll be fun. I can see that it's leaking over here, but surely that's not leaking all that fuel out. It's all new hoses and everything. Just have to track it down. Okay, so it appears that the bulk of that leak is coming down through here, and it might just be that hose right there. Seems tight, but those hoses may have shrunk a little bit since I put them on, so yep, we'll get the screwdriver out and tighten them up. Okay, parts came in. I was just about to run to the store and get those wheels and tires, but it is time to put some fittings in. I'm excited. Well, these are the fittings we've been waiting on. O-ringed to -6 AN. And then we have an O-ringed plug here as well. My lighting situation keeps getting worse in this shop, so bear with me. I don't know what's going on. We put these LEDs up. They're pretty new, very nice lights. They were expensive, they weren't cheap. And they've got the 2 main going in, like you normally wire up a house plug or anything. And then it's got 2 small wires coming off of it, like a 16 gauge, that should go into a dimmer. Well, on some of them I did that. I put it into a household dimmer. The others, I just tied those 2 wires together and the lights are on all the time. And they've just, one by one, gone out, started flashing, and then eventually they just quit working. So yeah, pretty frustrating. Like I mentioned yesterday, we're gonna plug this one side because we don't need it. Beautiful. Goes in there just like I expected it to. Need to tighten the bolts on this regulator, but I didn't want to do that until we had it all installed. O-ring went in good. You can tell when an O-ring's not going in well. It'll have like a certain amount of resistance, maybe a little more than you think, and then it'll kind of give way. That means you cut it. And these went in, at least that one went in really good, so we're going to assume that we did a good job here. It pained me to buy these fancy crescent wrenches for AN fittings because they're kind of expensive and they're like a one-use item. I'm glad I did. Normal wrenches, they will tear these little aluminum fittings up. Now we can make sure we get this good and tight. Okay, I had to go find my Allen wrench. Cool, man. So that's going to be hard line all the way to the back. I like that. That'll go straight over to there. It certainly won't be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it'll work. That's hooked up. Now I believe the only thing left to hook up on this is I got to run my wire from my coil over to my distributor. I need to mount that coil. And then I need a trigger wire coming from the key to this whole unit here, which appears to be slot, let's not make the mistake we did yesterday, switched source terminal 16. So that's going to be 18, 17, 16. It'll go there, which is this wire here. This is the one coming from in my cab. We've got all these wires just stuffed in here. I think what I would like to do is put I terminals on them, but that'll probably work just fine. That's a new day. I got distracted yesterday. Some dudes came down the road with the dump trailer. They're like, hey man, that tree looks a little bit old. You want to cut it down? I said, yeah. Got some cash in the truck. Get to work. And it was fun to watch, so I just kind of stood in the yard and watched other people work. And then they ground the stump, which was cool to watch. This is our original house that we bought when I think I was 20, Emily was 17 or 18 or something like that. And I parked my trailers over here, and that tree's been in the way for a long time, and it was a big, beautiful oak tree, but it finally died, got rotted, so had to go. But now I can pull rigs in here, which is great because I need to get Finnegan's FBI unit out of in front of my shop. When that storm came through, we got back from Albuquerque and someone had slid through the parking lot, smashed into the boat that's out there in the front, also smashed into an enclosed trailer that Stuart owns, our landlord. I don't want that to happen to the FBI unit. I just don't need it there. So we got that tree down. Now we're going to be able to back that rig to the back of the property. Emily and I've got about 1.5 acres here, so we can kind of tuck it back in the corner. I'm going to walk into the shop and see where we left off. These lights are just driving me absolutely nuts. I know I've already said that a couple times, but I'm over here trying to video for you guys and they're just glitching and flashing. So we'll get the doors open, get some natural light in here. That's better. So here's where we left off with the Bronco. Everything's hooked up that needs to be hooked up that I can think of. Got the hoses on it. So that's all hooked up. This is a wire that's left. This comes from my key inside. That's my 12-volt switch, and it goes over here. So I need to extend that. I would like to run a whole new wire. I don't want a butt connector on here, but I don't have the wiring stuff at the shop anymore. So I'm probably just gonna butt connect this, extend it, get it running, and then I'll be able to drive it to the big shop. And over there, I've got all the wiring stuff, the sheathing, the shrink wrap, all the things I need to make this all really nice and pretty. The goal this week was never to like perfect these cars. It was to get them back in the loop running so they can be moved around and get Mike Finnegan's truck over here backed in this shop and tucked away. So here pretty soon, I'm gonna throw a battery in this thing, hook that 12-volt switched up, and kind of fumble through the screen, see if I can get it tuned up and running. That's next up. All right, I just crawled under there and put the O2 sensor in, the new one, plugged it in. It's time for a battery. Our fuel injection, I'm going to hook it up to the side post. I don't like running my main source on the same post as the fuel injection. I'm excited to clean all this wiring up. It's quite the mess. All right, so I like putting my ECM or my fuel injection on side post and all the main connections on the top post. Doesn't matter so much on this rig, but if you've got like an electrical fan, that creates some static and some dirty electricity. So we try to keep those separate. I've got the fuel injection hooked up to the side post here on the positive side. So now I'm going to see if we get any sparkage. No, okay, we're good. So now the negative main is going on. All right, last thing to hook up is the ground for the fuel injection. So I'm just gonna touch it first. Nothing, good. That's what I want. So we will go ahead and hook it up. Just double checking my wires. It's all hooked up. Should we turn the key on and see what happens? See if the fuel pump kicks on. Kind of start the process of programming that thing, setting our engine parameters and everything. I think we should. Okay, we've got oil in it now. All right, heard the fuel pump. Okay, calibration wizard. Step 1, select wizard. It was up a minute ago. Let's try it again. Wizards. Engine displacement. 302. Oh, that sliding scale moves quickly. Oh, we were there for a second. Got it. Target idle. I'm thinking about 600. There we go. Stock. No turbo. Darn it. Coil. Okay, we got dual sync distributor hyperspark. Let me confirm that's what we have. Yep, that's what we got. Okay, we got the hyperspark. Standard hyperspark. Oh, I don't know the answer to this. Huh. Let me go figure it out. Okay, I think I've determined that we've got the ready run. Okay, looks like we're set up. Go to monitor. We'll see if she'll start. Okay, let's see what we've got. I have no clue if that distributor is in the right place or if it matters. I don't know if the computer is going to compensate for it, but let's see what she says. It's in park. I'm going to watch her oil pressure. Nothing so far. Fuel pump's definitely working. Okay, I don't see any fuel leaks. Looks like we need to adjust our fuel pressure. It's sitting at about 30, so we'll jack that up a little bit. What are we working with here? Not that Allen. Yeah, I believe we tighten it up for more fuel pressure. It's holding fuel pressure, that's cool. Now, we'll see what that does. Made some adjustments. We'll cycle the key and see where the fuel pressure goes to now. All right, well, that was at almost 60, so we'll back it off a little bit. I think we're shooting for about 48, but I'm about to look at the book and confirm that. I know it's got to be around 50 PSI, but I want to confirm 55 to 65 PSI. Okay, so it needs a little bit more. We can do that. Basically put it back where it was, because it was at 60 when I first came out here. Okay, so we're going to crank it until we see RPM that verifies that we've got that working. Throttle position should read 0. Slowly depress the throttle to wide open. It should read between 85 and 100%, so we'll check that. MAP manifold air pressure sensor should read from 95 to 102 at high elevations. It could read as low as 75. We're at 365 feet elevation here, so that's not a problem. So we should be seeing that 95 to 102. IAC position, see idle settings, okay. Let's try it out. So I'm going to cycle the key in here. Okay, we're showing 12.14 volts, 0 on the throttle. Now I'm hitting full throttle. We are at 81 on the TPS. Okay, so it is reading that. All right, let's try to spin it over. Okay, didn't like something. Yes, that is awesome. That works. Whoa, I was about to say that worked so much better than I thought it was going to. And it's working. I wonder why it did that. I wonder if I got a vacuum leak I need to check out. I did reuse that gasket. I'm not going to worry about it too much because it's got to learn what it's doing. So, but it wasn't misfiring. It was running good. Got a cap there. Those are both capped, so I shouldn't have an issue with that. We will just fire it back up and see what happens. I'm excited now. That went much easier than I thought it was going to. It just fired right up. And I did not adjust that distributor. There's no timing to it, I guess. The computer just knows where it's at and it adjusts it for you. So that's new to me. I've never experienced that. So let's try to start it again. I'm going to be monitoring. It's in a stall. See, everything looks pretty good. You can see here if I do the throttle. I'm only getting 81%, but I've got adjustment in that, so we can get to 100%. Running pretty smooth. I set the RPM at 600 and it's trying to find it. There's a mechanical adjustment out there as well. So why it's doing that, I do not know. I probably need to go tighten that distributor. I just had a thought that that distributor may not be tight, and if it's moving around, it could be confusing it. So I'm just gonna pick a place. Okay, let's try it one more time before I start reading that book too much. It's obviously spitting back. That would typically tell you that timing's off or there's a big vacuum leak. They've been known to do that with the vacuum leak, which I may have. But for now, let's just fire it up again, see if it can learn, see if it can work through its problems, you know, before I get involved. Okay. Looking at the book. I'll go through here and double check what my timing is at. I've got the idle set at 600. Let's bump that on up to 700. Sorry you guys can't see what I'm doing in here, but I'm making adjustments. Bump that up just in case the idle screw is too far out and it's overcompensating the other way. So we got our idle timing at 15 degrees. Got our wide open at 32 degrees. I mean, it does kind of sound like a timing backfire. Maybe this engine wants a little bit more. We'll bump this timing up to 35. I don't think it should matter because I've not really gone wide open throttle. Let's see what our idle timing is. Idle timing's 15. Oh, that seems about right. I can't imagine it wanting much more than that. We'll give it a little more though. We'll go up to 18 on idle. Let's see what she says there. Well, that is interesting. Why is it running fine and then chugging? Would that be too much fuel? Okay, now we got our AFR pulled up so we can see what's going on. Okay, there's not near enough timing in this thing. Got our AFRs running about 12. Man, I just can't imagine it needing more timing. I'm gonna have to Google this and see what these HO 5 liters need. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what these HOs like. I've got it set at 18 right now, initial timing, or idle timing, I should say, and it's not liking it. So if you're not familiar with this truck, we put an early 90s Mustang 5.0 in there, the HO. And so I did some Googling, and it looks like the idle timing, they like 12 to 14, and about 34 degrees wide open throttle. So let's make some adjustments here. Go into tuning, basics. This stuff's real simple. Go into spark, ignition timing at idle. We'll bring that back down to 12. Actually, I'm gonna put it at 14 because it seemed a little happier when I had more timing in it. Okay, go to OK. This thing's real simple to use. Ignition wide open. We got it at 35. I'll go ahead and bump it down to 32. This is not a very hot little engine. Okay, ignition timing at cruise. What should that be at? Now it's at 36. I don't think that's where it needs to be. Cranking, and we got 15 degrees on crank. So let's go back. We'll go into tuning. I'm gonna look at the fuel. Target is 14.7, Excel Enrich 14.7, but it was running at 12 when I had it running a minute ago. Probably need to crank it up and check that fuel pressure while it's running. It may be pulling it down. Okay, so let's go to monitor, fire it up, see what happens. Oh, my battery volts are showing low now. Yep, I need to get a booster on it. 9.95 volts on that battery. That went down quick. All right, we got a little boost on here. I'm boosting it at the top post, not where the ECM was plugged in. This brings back memories. Okay, let's fire it up. Okay, fuel pressure, what do we got? We'll give it a little bit more. I don't think that's our problem, but we'll give it some more. Now, why is it doing that just randomly? That makes no sense. We're still gonna give it a little more fuel pressure. Yeah, that makes no sense to me how it'll sit here and run perfect, rev perfect, all that, and then all of a sudden backfire. But I am not a gasoline mechanic, so I do know those spark plugs took a lot of damage from it overfueling. Yeah, that's raw gasoline. Okay. Well, I'm gonna fire it back up. That's still not enough timing. Sure seems to run good until it does that spitty thing. Still needs more timing. That's super lethargic. I can feel the heat coming off of it. It's running very lean. Yeah, our AFR is sitting at about 12.8. It needs more fuel. Fuel pressure is about 55. Okay, I got some learning to do. We got our target at 14.7, running at very close to 13. Looks like our alternator is working. That's nice. Okay, here's where I set my timing. I don't really like the way it's running. It's kind of lethargic. However, it's not spitting back anymore. So we got some fine tuning to do here. With a stock 5-liter HO out of Mustang, where would you guys set these? Let me know. Okay, I think we're safe to back this one out. Got a lot of work left to do to clean all this stuff up. But I think we are close enough to back it out, get it over to the other shop and do our fine tuning there. You guys let me know what you think about that timing. I've never set cruise timing. Don't really know what it is. I'm a diesel guy, but I'm figuring it out. You guys saw the screen. What was it? 12 degrees initial and then 32 wide open throttle. Is that enough? Is it not enough? Too much? Let me know. It sounds smooth. I like the way it's running. I just think it needs to be a little snappier. But we're dealing with a pretty stock little engine. Okay. Okay, still got a lot of work to do on that rig, but the goal was get it cranked up, running, and be able to move it around. When things are broken down in this little shop, it gets small really quick. So we accomplished that. I've got to take it to the other shop, do lots of cool wiring on it, get that timing adjusted and tuned in really well, and that'll come at a later date. For now, we'll clean the floor up, we'll get that Z-car back, get our new wheels and tires put on it, see if we can trace down that fuel leak, the water leak, and fix that brake light that's hanging on. Once that's done, I'll probably take that over to the big shop as well, because I got to back that dually in here and get it out of sight, out of mind until Finnegan wants it back. So lots of cleaning up right now. And my key cleaner upper is in Florida. Oh well, I can do it too. She's just better at it. Okay, Emily, got something to show you. I didn't push it there, watch this. Fuel pump cycle. It's a runner again. Sounds good. All that clicking we used to hear with fuel injection, doesn't do it anymore. Got some adjusting to do on it. I'm about to pull the 300Z back, put the wheels and tires on it, but I just wanted to show you. Got it. How's it going down there?
Dude, heck yes. It is gonna be so nice to have Betty back on the road, and I can't wait to see the 300 with her new wheels. Okay, I'm having a good day. We are getting this drag and drive in the books. I'm having fun on the Freedom Plus live stream and checking in with all my friends. You know, everybody doing their things, breaking stuff, fixing stuff, racing stuff, street driving, freaking race cars. It's good stuff. I'm so excited about the progress you're making, and I miss y'all. You, the kid, and the puppies. I miss the puppies a lot.
All right, so got some oil spills and stuff, but we're about to make another mess, so I'm not going to worry about it. You can see it is dirty, but I'm gonna get it cleaned up. But first I'm gonna put the wheels and tires on it, and then I'll probably take it up to the car wash. I don't wanna do it here in the yard. The problem is we don't have good driveways here. So if I get the power washer out there, power wash it, then there's gonna be mud underneath it. So I would rather take it up there. I've decided that the coolant leak, you can see the trail right there, is not anything I did. It's actually the water pump has gone bad, which I've got a new water pump, so not a big deal. Probably is a big deal to actually put it on. That's kind of a bear to work on anything under that engine bay. It's just a mess. So let's get these wheels and tires on there and see what she looks like then. And there she is. Cool. See if I can find a jack stand. It's a shame to have these two lifts and be using a jack on the floor. Go get our wheels. All right, here they are. Now we went with Continentals. Of course, these are Continental Extreme Contact Force. Front's gonna be a 245/35 ZR18. Okay, so we're clearing the strut in here, clearing the brakes. Oh, those are beautiful, those Motegis. I dig it. Let me get the back one. Okay, so back we went with the 275/35 ZR18. These cars are not known for taking a big tire, and a 275 is a decent sized tire for a small car. We will just see. It was very hard to pick out wheels for this thing. A lot of what's on the market is very much geared toward, I don't know how to explain it. It's a look I don't like, the import look. It is, obviously, the car's an import, but some of the designs are a little bit more extreme than I wanted. I wanted somewhat understated, but still pretty. Okay, doesn't appear to be hitting anything. Got plenty of clearance on the inside. It's this lip I'm worried about. I don't want to damage this car. It's just in too good of condition. Oh, that looks nice. I found that wheel gap. If it doesn't settle, we may have to lower this car a little bit. Well, there it is. New wheels and tires are on. And I am a fan. That looks really sharp. A little bit tall in the front, but we bought our wheels and tires based on the fact that we were probably going to lower it a little bit. So, but it looks good. Just need to get it cleaned up now. So before I can take this thing to the car wash and then over to the other shop, I've got a few things to do. I noticed that I don't have my hoses on my charge tubes. I left those off whenever I found that water leak because I was like, man, I'm gonna have to take it all off anyways. So I'm gonna go through it, check all the clamps, all the hoses, everything, put the charge tube clamps on, and then we'll run it to the car wash. But first I'm gonna pull it outside because I wanna do that work out here. It is a beautiful, sunny and warm day. I don't wanna be in that dark shop. So we're gonna back it up here and then we'll get it buttoned up, head to the car wash. Car's sounding much better. Got a little bit of oil smoke. Hoping that those turbos just had a little bit of oil residue in them. Well, we'll see. Oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to sound like. Cool. There's absolutely no way you're going to be able to see it because I can barely see it. But the leak is coming from right down there, the coolant leak. Man, she smoothed up pretty good. So here's what I'm working on, the charge tubes for the turbos. This one's coming from the turbo down to the intercooler, back up into the intake. Same thing on this side. Just got to get my clamps on there, get those tightened up. It appears we fixed our fuel leak. So we had a bit of a fuel leak over here. All these clamps took a little bit of tightening. So I think that rubber just shrunk, but we got it fixed up. Wow, it's pretty nice having the shop open like that. We'll get these tires put in storage. We got a container back there for them. Get the floor cleaned up a little bit more and get Finn's vehicle in here. For all of you asking about the 57, well, we still have it. I totally understand your excitement about it. I'm excited too. But getting these two cars fixed, that's one step closer to getting that fixed. However, we're gonna have Finn's vehicle in here now, so I won't have access to it. I've got a lot of work to do on it. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of body work up here. I've already done a lot, but there's more that needs to be done. I need to replace this floor pan. Not interesting on video, and especially not fixing dents. That's what's so hard, is I go start fixing a dent, and because I'm not a professional, it may take me 2 or 3 days to get one fixed, hammered out the way I want it, and that does not make interesting YouTube. It makes interesting shorts. I love seeing people fix a dent, where they start with something bad, hammer it out, and it looks really cool. Those dudes are professionals and they do it pretty quickly, but it's still time consuming. So if I go working on this right now, while we're in the process of buying this building, what's gonna happen is we're gonna end up with probably a month of very uninteresting videos where I'm just hammering out dents. So it's just gonna be hours and hours of footage of that. And I don't wanna watch that, so I assume you guys don't either. But we will get back to it. I'm very excited to get back to it. I just need it in a position where I can access it so I can come over here, 2 or 3 hours in the evening, work on it, store that footage, and then once we got enough piled up to where we're actually making progress, then we can cut a video on it. But for now, that's where she is. Okay, let's get these charge tubes fixed up. So it's interesting, Emily and I got together when she was 14, I was 17 years old, and I was driving a 1978 Datsun 280Z. If you watch the channel, you know that car is Zen. We restored it for our 10-year wedding anniversary. But I've always just had a thing for Japanese cars and other cars like the Miata. I've loved kind of the geeky, sporty import cars, a little bit more than I love the V8s. And Emily took a liking to V8s. Her GTO factory LS2, she loves the Corvette, and I love all those cars too. These are just kind of what gets me excited. They're a little bit different, interesting to work on, fun to drive, sporty, zippy. I just find that interesting that I was naturally drawn to this stuff and she was drawn to American V8s. I can certainly have a lot of fun in my Corvette or in her GTO, but this is the stuff that gets me more excited. Okay, so I got those two on. I'm missing 2 clamps, so I'm gonna have to go round some up. They may have broke when I took them off, I really can't remember. Need one back there, one here, but I'll tighten those too. This car reminds me of like the Duramax diesel where there is a clamp for everything. It's all secured, and that's great until you have to work on it. So 2 clamps over there. We'll check the coolant, top that off. I gotta move Finn's trailer, it's parked behind this car here, and then we'll be to the car wash. Okay, it's time to head to the car wash. I think it's running pretty good. We were getting quite a bit of residual smoke from either side of the engine. I'm hoping it's just dirty fingerprints and stuff like that, or maybe we spilled some oil or something. I'm gonna keep a close eye on it, but not much I can do because you can't really see down in there to see where it's coming from. But we're gonna head to the car wash, get this cleaned up. I didn't forget you. I'm just here shooting by myself, so I gotta come back and get the camera. Still got an intermittent tick. It's not doing it right now, but it was when I backed it up here. Hopefully those lifters are just coming back to life. They'll be good to go soon. Water temp staying good. Oil pressure looks decent. This is my first time driving this car. I've driven it to the front of the house and then back to the shop, but I've never actually driven it. Those new tires are sticky. You can hear the rocks hitting. Oh, she sounds good. Blinker works. It sounds like I just did a burnout because of the stickiness of the tires. Okay, water temp's still good. Oil pressure still good. Brakes feel great. Yeah, so the story is a family friend of Emily's family bought this car brand new. Guy that I've been around for 25 years now. That's how long Emily and I've been together. He always had this car sitting over in his barn by his lake house. And being a kid that grew up in the 90s, I fell in love with these 300ZXs, but never had one. By the time I could afford toy cars, I was playing with other stuff. These were still pretty expensive. And so for 23 years, I guess it was, I knew this car was sitting over there not getting used, and I wanted it. And eventually the day came that he said, hey, I'm thinking about getting rid of some stuff, and this is one of them. And so we bought it. It had been sitting so long that the fuel tank was all nasty, the fuel pump was bad, the injectors were clogged up. It took us forever to fix it because they're really difficult to work on. I'm used to big trucks. The parts are bigger. You can see everything. I mean, if you talk to anybody that's worked on one of these, it's one of the more difficult cars. We finally got it fixed, got it going, and the tires were flat spotted, so we never drove it. Happens when a car sits for 20 years. And it took us forever to decide what wheels we want, what tires we want. Kind of got pushed in the corner, forgotten about, but finally we have wheels and tires, and I am driving this thing, and it feels so good. Sitting at a stoplight, water temp still good. Right before we get to the car wash, I'm gonna pull into the gas station and top this thing off. I'm sure it would appreciate some really nice fresh fuel. Has anybody noticed when you're test driving a car for the first time, the stoplights take forever? When you're sitting there worrying about it overheating. I don't know if that was my belt squeaking or somebody else's. All right, we're gonna rip in here and get some fuel. Got a suction on there. Deduction. Hey, time for a car wash. I don't like it and I don't recommend it, but I am going to use that brush because this thing has got to be polished anyways. Stage one of cleaning done. Now just a lot of polishing. Well, I'm very happy with that. We got it running. There's some fine tuning to do. New wheels and tires on it. Got it cleaned up. I would like to go in there and color correct it and really polish this thing because the paint is absolutely perfect on it. There's a few little blemishes after 74,000 miles of running, but no body damage. It's just a beautiful car. I'm so excited to have it in the lineup so I can actually drive it and enjoy it. Okay, so now it is time to get this behemoth of a square body dually out of my shop. Plenty of room to put it in the other shop now. So we can let it go crowd the spot that we're not going to be using every day. I'm going to just guess and say they've got a leaky transmission line. I mean, I may need to check that before I head over to the other shop. It's only about 2 miles, but I'll check it out. If you're not familiar with this truck, Finnegan and Freiberger drove this from California to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where they engine swapped it while they were road tripping. Finnegan and a friend of theirs, his name's Bostic, built an engine right there in the middle of it, and then they swapped it in Albuquerque, which is the first time we saw it. And I cannot get the hood open, so how much fluid it's got in it, that's just what it's got in it. Hopefully it's got enough to move. It is a mammoth of a machine. Pretty cool. If you want to learn more about it, definitely go over and check out Freiberger's channel, Finnegan's channel. They did a pretty good job making videos on them. Oh yeah. Well, I hope the fuel gauge doesn't work in this thing, because it's showing to be out. It's still got a transmission. Maybe that's power steering fluid leaking. I'm pretty sure it's power steering fluid leaking, because it is not wanting to turn. Okay, see if we can pull out of here. It's so long that the bed of the truck is in the road and the front of the truck is still in the shop, and I can't see if anybody's coming, so fingers crossed. It will come hauling butt around that corner. I think we're in the clear though. The bugger is long. It has full exhaust on it. I can't tell if it's running kind of choppy or if that's the cam they put in it. Kind of tricky. Of course, I decided to do this right when school let out, so we got all the teeny boppers coming back from the high school. Okay, now we got it. It runs pretty good. Nope, it's transmission fluid leaking out. It's shifting funny. Not that far to go. Oh, the hood just opened. Nice. Just had to hit a bump. Hey, I wonder if we made it in. Cool, it's in here. That is awesome. Now we don't have to worry about his engines getting rusted. He's got a lot of cool stuff back here. So he says. I've not looked under the tarp to see what it is, but important stuff, I'm sure. Tucked away in OG FSG. Hey Finn, just checking in with you. Heard you guys had to change the transmission, man. Been thinking about you guys a lot. Wishing I was there, but check it out. I got the limo in OG Flying Sparks Garage. Pretty cool. So now your engines, whatever you have in the back of it, it's going to be safe out of the weather. And this is not going to be in the middle of our other shop where we're trying to move Peterbilts around and stuff. So let me know how you're doing. I'm curious. I'd like an update.
Hey Aaron, it's Finnegan. Good to hear from you, buddy. I gotta be honest, I can't believe you fit the limo truck in there. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for that. 'Cause I gotta be honest, the motors in the bed of that truck are pretty important to me, and if it gets real cold, I don't know what's gonna happen to those aluminum blocks. As for us, we're doing pretty good in sec week. We're in second place. Getting ready to hit the road on day 3 from Bradenton. except we've got some work to do to the Rotson because that thing needs a clutch slave cylinder. Blew it in half. So those guys right now are trying to R&R the bell housing, which doesn't want to come off, and maybe change the clutch disc because that might be smoked. And we're having fun here before we hit the road for a 250 mile an hour drive tonight. Not mile an hour, mile. Check it out. Yeah, there it is. That's the Rotson. But anyway, thanks for the video. Thanks for everything you and M do for me. I appreciate you guys more than you know. And I'll holler at you later with a new update. See you, brother.
Well, it's going to go ahead and do it for me this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it's been a bit of a different episode with Emily being in Florida doing the sick week coverage. But you know what? The kid and I got it. She did all the editing. I did all the work. We've got a lot to learn, but we had fun. See you next week.